Okay, perfect. There we go. All right, so hopefully you guys are all joining us today for our New Jersey Workforce Registry professional development session on navigating your professional growth and understanding the New Jersey Career Lattice. I may be a new face to you all, so I want to give a quick introduction. My name is Allison Comport, and I work on behalf of the Public Consulting Group team. I worked very closely with the department and many amazing statewide colleagues in the development of this document, and so we're really excited to be able to do a walkthrough. And really, this is our kickoff, our first live webinar. There will be other events forthcoming in the future, so definitely stay tuned, and excited for you all to come today and to have a discussion. So before we move forward, I want to hand it over to Colleen Hicks, who's here from the department, to give a brief welcome and hello.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. Of course, I coughed as soon as Allison introduced me, so it took me a second to get off of the microphone. Can everyone hear me okay? I'm hoping my internet connection is stable. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Colleen Hicks, and I am the quality manager at the Office of Child Care at the New Jersey Department of Human Services. And I'm so excited to welcome you here today to today's webinar, where we are excited to officially launch the New Jersey Career Lattice. The Career Lattice was designed was designed in collaboration with numerous state agency staff and community partners, including our colleagues from the New Jersey Department of Health, the New Jersey Department of Human Services, the Department of Labor and Workforce Development, the New Jersey Department of Children and Families, and the Department of Education. Along with many other statewide partners and stakeholders as well. Our career lattice was designed to align the professional roles individuals may hold across the field. It also attempts to align across multiple standards and requirements, including things like the Child Care Manual of Requirements and New Jersey Core Knowledge and Competencies for early childhood professionals. So during today's webinar, we will provide an overview of this new resource, as well as share with you the many, many new resources that are available to the field. And we really hope that everyone looking at the Career Lattice will see themselves in the document. And should you have any future professional ambitions, that you will clearly see next steps and possible positions that you can hold in the field. This has been a labor of love, something that Allison has been leading for many, many years to be able to get to today. Incredible amount of research, time, dedication, and a lot of collaboration has gone into creating a resource that we really feel will benefit programs, school districts, and just the early childhood community in general. So with that said, I am happy to pass the microphone over to Allison and her colleagues at Public Consulting Group and the New Jersey Workforce Registry. Thank you all for being here today.
Thank you, Colleen. We appreciate your welcome. So I'm going to begin by doing a walkthrough about what we're hoping to discuss today. So we hope that at the end of today's hour that you're going to have a better understanding about what the New Jersey Career Lattice is, that you're going to understand why it is an important guide for professional growth and learning, and also to understand how it aligns to the core knowledge and competencies and are related to the lattice, as well as to be able to understand how the lattice aligns overarchingly also to childcare licensing regulations, and then how to navigate the career lattice, as well as understand the components and really have a good sense of where to find your level, how to support others in their professional growth as you're looking at the document. So moving on, so what is the New Jersey Career Lattice? Maybe by now some of you guys have had a chance to actually access and look at the document, or even to log on to the registry system and to be able to find or apply even for your new level. But those of you who haven't, that's totally fine. We're going to do a walkthrough and show some of the pages as an example today to give an orientation. So what is the lattice? It is a tool or a framework that guides professional growth among early educators. Now, I'll say we developed this document to be very inclusive of the early care and education field because we understand that people come into this field through a variety of different ways. Maybe they started in early intervention or home visiting. Maybe they're entering as a high school student and not quite sure even necessarily if this is going to be their career path. And so we really wanted to be sure that all of those considerations were reflected in this document. So it's a guide for ourselves. We hope that, like I said, everyone will see themselves in this guide. And it really is used as a tool to be able to support professional growth. So informing professional development areas that you might want to learn more about, thinking about how you might get a higher level by your continued years of service in the field. We really wanted to recognize the importance of on-the-job learning. And so that is recognized throughout the document with the building years of experience as it relates to each of the different levels. So let's see. So why is it important? We hope that this document will help to clarify career pathways. We understand that there are different career requirements that are articulated in childcare licensing, that are articulated by NAYC, the National Association for the Education of Young Children, kind of our leading professional organization, as well as knowledge and skills that are outlined in the competencies document. And what we wanted to do is to try to make your jobs easier by bringing all of this into one place. So we put the responsibility of the alignment work on our team so that way everything could be integrated into one place. Doing this, we really hoped to align credentials and competencies. So in the development of the document, we looked at what were all of the different certifications and certificates that people have applied for in the most recent years through the New Jersey Career Lattice or through the New Jersey registry system. And we made sure to reflect those in the document. We also wanted to take a look and again, just make sure that it was reflecting current best practices. So what we know about research around how educators learn and grow throughout their careers. And we set up the document so that it supports professional development, so that professional development offerings can align to different levels in the lattice, and the lattice itself can be used to help inform individual professional development plans. And the state professional development plans have been aligned to this document. We also hope that it will promote workforce stability. We understand that coming out of the COVID-19 pandemic, the field really suffered, right? Our early educators were frontline workers. They were, working day to day with children and putting themselves in situations where, unfortunately, we saw a decline in the number of early educators working in the field. And so we're hoping that this document, like I said, by kind of simplifying and streamlining the ways in which educators access professional pathways, having educators see very, very clear on-ramps very early on in their careers. Like I said, high school, I can say for myself, I started working in this field as an apprentice when I was in middle school. I made $2 an hour. And from there, when I was 18, I became an assistant toddler teacher and have had a myriad of different positions since then. And so that framework of professional growth, and like I said, I hadn't even chosen early care and education. I just knew I liked young kids when I was that young. Never could have imagined that it would have been a career. That framework really supported the development of this document as a tool, because we know that people come in, they maybe leave the field, and they, kind of maybe have fits and starts in terms of their professional pathway. And so we really do think about it as it's not a ladder, and that's very intentional in design. It's meant to be thought of as kind of like a roadmap or a roadway, because we know that there are curves and turns along that path, and things can change in people's lives. But we certainly hope that because of that, it feels inclusionary and it promotes retention in the field. We also hope that this enhances equity and inclusion across the field. Again, trying to make very realistic and achievable kind of steps and directions depending on where people want to go. It's also not designed to be a document that drives everybody, for example, to a master's degree or to a doctorate degree. We know that that's not the best place or best fit for everybody across the field, and it doesn't reflect all of their goals. And so someone might come in at the certificate or, level 1 or level two entry points, and that is the best place for them. So one example that I can give is my best friend is a teacher assistant. She does not want to become a lead teacher. She loves being in her role as teacher assistant, and that is her career. And so we want this document to reflect where educators see themselves in their work, and where they feel it's the best place. And then lastly, we also really hope that this informs policy and funding allocations, so that the department can align its investments in higher education and professional development providers and entities, and to really the goal, or to this framework. And PD providers similarly will align professional development offerings, college coursework, to everything that's articulated here. So moving on, I wanted to talk a little bit more about the alignment. So I had mentioned this previously, and the documents that I'm pulling up here. So on the left, the manual of requirements for childcare. In the middle, this is the Career Lattice Resource Guide. So this is the document that we're talking about primarily today. And then on the right, the core knowledge and competencies. So you will see this directly reflected, these alignments, and I'll kind of get to it, and I'll show you an actual page in the Career Lattice Guide. But we were very, very clear as we were going through and developing this, that we wanted to see the manual of requirements explicitly aligned and reflected in the document. So meaning the requirements around positions for licensing, the number of hours for professional development, both for onboarding, for initial hiring, and then for ongoing retention in the program. And similarly, we wanted the levels to really align to the knowledge and skills that were reflected in the core knowledge and competencies as well. And so those were, these two documents are very seminal to the Career Lattice Resource Guide. So with that being said, we also always know that sometimes childcare licensing, regulations are updated. And so the work of all of us in the department will be, obviously, as updates and changes happen in the field, we would be reflecting those in this Career Lattice Resource Guide. But hopefully we don't have to worry about that for a while. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the core knowledge and competencies. I'm going to bring these up here so that we have everything here. So the core knowledge and competencies, I always think of these documents as really the equivalent for educators to what the early learning guidelines are. So in the same way that we say early learning guidelines are what children should know, understand, and be able to do, the core knowledge and competencies are what educators should know, understand, and be able to do. And so they reflect evidence-based skills in terms of how to support families and how to work with children.
Allison, can I interrupt you for one
course.
moment? Shauna and I are not able to let people in from the waiting room, and I do know we have some people that are still waiting. Do you mind just switching over to that?
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you.
So much.
There we go. Okay. Thank you very much. I appreciate you letting me know. Okay. There we go. All right. It also outlines and demonstrates the behaviors and skills for early childhood professionals. And so you can see here in these two figures, figure 1 and 2, we have the core knowledge and competencies for the early care workforce and also professional development providers. The early care and education workforce and professional development providers, of course, are reflected in the Career Lattice Resource Guide. We've also included professionals that work in policy and advocacy, early intervention, family home visiting. So again, we really tried to make sure that it was an inclusive document that reflects the many different roles that people have throughout their careers in the field. Okay, so I want to just give a quick walkthrough in terms of how we've aligned this to, like I mentioned, the competencies and then also the licensing requirements. So this is a picture essentially of one of the levels. So one of the first levels, which is apprentice. And what you can see here is that we have a column here for core knowledge and competencies. So this again shows the alignment to the competencies. And then under professional development, we've also included the initial hours for based on childcare licensing standards, as well as ongoing hours, and then links throughout to where people can find those specific references. Now, we couldn't include all of the text. For example, we say across required topics, For childcare subsidy programs, there are 13 required topic areas. This document would get way too long and have way too much text, even more than it already does if we were to include those, which is why we include the links here for people to be able to go back and make their own reference. So that's where you see the alignment to these two pieces in the lattice. And we'll come back and do a little bit of a walkthrough coming up. Let me see. Oh, there we go, through this. So this reflects, there are 7 levels in the lattice, and you can see the first one is apprentice, which is the picture that I had just shared. From there, it moves on to entry-level professional, certified credentialed, associate. And these levels, essentially the entry-level professional represents somebody who maybe, has a high school diploma or a GED, is coming into this with no formal college credit or, professional experience, or maybe they've, started a class or have completed 3 credits, but are kind of at the entry portion of the field. Now, certified credentialed professional is like it sounds. It's somebody who maybe has received a certificate. So some institutions, for example, offer a 9 credit or a 12 credit college certificate, or maybe you've obtained a certification, like, for example, early childhood mental health consultation or something like that. And so this level is meant to recognize that kind of next sequence of professional steps. Now, associates, baccalaureates, masters, these all are similarly as they sound. Someone who has an associate's degree would be at level 3. Someone who has a bachelor's degree would be at 4, and master's degree would be at level 6, excuse me. And then scholar practitioner is someone who has a doctorate degree. So that might be an EDD, it might be a PhD. There's doctorate degrees in various forms. So now I want to do a little bit more about how to navigate through the lattice. So what you'll see is, obviously we have the level name, as I mentioned before, and as you could see from the previous visual with apprentice. This is the current level of education. So you can see here, someone might have, and it's not all of these, it's one of these. They might have vocational school certificate, high school degree, some college credit, but no degree, etc. Now, for concentration, this is the area that your certificate or degree might be focused in. So, for example, you might have some college credit in, let's say that your concentration or your major, some people know it as major, is in psychology, as an example. So we talked about the core knowledge and competencies. This is college credit. So if there's a requirement around the number of college credits or credit hours that are required, you'll see that here. At the apprentice level, it's no required hours, but as the lattice levels go on, then it might be 3, 12, 30, etc. Here for professional development, like I mentioned, is the number of professional development hours, and that's aligned to licensing. And then this last one is the years of experience. At these beginning levels, we have no years of experience, but you can see as the levels go on, again, we wanted to have a place to recognize retention in the field, and again, that the importance of that on-the-job learning, which I know is such a valuable experience. And so that's why, again, the building years of experience are reflected throughout the document. Okay, and then if there's any notes, sometimes there were like points for clarification that we wanted to make note of, or definitions, then you would see those at the bottom here with this little asterisk, and it's just kind of any other details potentially to know as you're taking a look at this level. Okay. So I mentioned that we designed the Career Lattice so that a lot of people could see themselves in the document, given the different ways that people enter into or come upon this work. And in part, some of this is also because there are people that are working in this field where early childhood degrees and majors weren't even available at institutions of higher education when they started. And so the field, of course, has very much changed over recent years. And so we wanted to provide recognition of that. And so we've come up with a list of related degrees. So there's some language in the document that says or related degree. So early childhood education, associates, or related degree, for example. Now we've prioritized, we know the value if you've taken actual content and pedagogy courses in early childhood, those are prioritized in terms of they essentially have a higher lattice level. But again, some of those later lattice levels we still wanted to recognize these related degrees. And so these are reflected there. And so these might be degrees in elementary education, school administration, child psychology. And again, we recognize that there's a lot of really important, relevant content in these majors and in these course pathways. And these might have been all that was available to somebody when they were pursuing their coursework at the time. And so again, we are reflective of these. And also we want to be inclusive that if maybe somebody started in social work, but they really love being in the classroom, we want to make sure that we're incentivizing them to stay and to see themselves in this work. So next, what we'd like to do is we'd actually like to do a walkthrough of the system, NJCCIS, so that you all can see how to find the Career Lattice level information, how to apply for your Lattice level, and then we'll also give a little bit of an update about if you are already in the registry, what does this mean for how your new Lattice level is assigned. So to do this next piece, I'm going to be turning it over to my colleagues at TCC, and I will stop sharing here so that you guys can take it away. And what I'll say too, I apologize, when I'm sharing screen, I can't moderate the chat, but while TCC is talking, I'm going to pop into the chat and we will have time at the end for questions and answers too. So.
Awesome. Thanks, Allison. My name's James. I'm with TCC and the training team. You probably hear my voice. My camera's broken right now, working on getting a new one. But I'm going to share my screen and we'll get started walking you guys through the Career Lattice. 1 second here. And then if someone could let me know when you see the NJCCIS screen.
We see it.
Awesome. Okay. So, folks, first off, this is our testing training environment. So things might look just slightly different than the NJCCIS you're used to using, and that's because we're putting in new user stories. We're working on new items. So some things might look a little different, but the base functionality is going to be there, okay? So I'm going to log in as a registry user today, and we're just going to see how we can access some things. So I'm going to log in here. And then once we're in, there's a couple ways we can get to our professional profile. And that is, up at the top under the registry, we have the professional development link. That's going to take us directly where we need to go. Secondary way of getting there, we can go up to our account and our profile. That's going to load our NJCCI user account profile, and then you can see our professional profile. So far, nothing too different about how we get to our professional profile, right? It's still here, and there's still a link here. This one's just been renamed to professional development, but same button, same functionality. It takes you there. So we can open up this panel, and this is where it's going to start to look a little different. If you've been in the NJCCIS system in the last couple of weeks, maybe you notice, hey, this looks different than it did a couple of weeks ago, and that's because we have this brand new update in that's kind of making it easier to use is the general idea. So we're going to hit that professional profile, and then we can hit our professional development dashboard. So when I select this, it brings us to our dashboard. And this is going to show us a little bit of our account information. So we know, hey, this is my account I'm looking at. I'm logged into mine. I can see that information here. And then just so you know, so we can see that other way of getting here, if we go back to the home screen, we hit that registry drop down up at the top and we tap professional development, brings us right here. Okay. Now, I'm going to scroll down, and this is where things are going to look a little different than maybe you were used to previously. Previously, there was panels lined up, and you would click them and expand the information down below. That information's still there. We didn't change any of your profiles or anything. All your information's still under your account if you've already got one in NJCCIS. We're just now using quick links instead of those panels. And this makes it a little easier to navigate, a little easier to find the items you're looking for. So this is how we'll get there. And just a reminder, we can still click these items. I can see my work experience here. It's going to open up down below. It's going to tell me what facilities I've been associated to. I can still access my grants and scholarships here. The only difference is it's not in panels, it's in the quick link. So you can see that here. I can see event registrations that I've signed up for. You can see my registered events here. We can still hit these items. I can still come and see my professional development history. I can see those items. I can still add here. So none of this functionality has changed. So we just wanted to kind of touch on that a little bit. Also, with that, we also have the PDP plan. This is a new item, and we're going to touch on this. You've either already had some training on it or you'll get some training, but I just wanted to remind us these are where those items are located. But today we're focusing in on the Career Lattice, right? So we can see that link right there, Career Lattice. It's going to open up down below. So just a reminder, how do we get here? We can come up to registry. We hit our professional development link. We come down, we see our quick links here, and we look for the Career Lattice quick link, and that's going to open up down below, okay? Now, as we move through this, we've got some information here about the Career Lattice, just a nice welcome message, kind of explain it a little bit, our options. And then the first item we're going to see here is our Career Lattice level assessment. Determine your Career Lattice level. Now, these items don't have any functionality outside of this section. So you're not going to be affecting other places on your profile and your information. This is an assessment so you can help guide yourself as you request the appropriate career level. So you can see there's drop downs for my level of education. Let's say I've got a bachelor degree. I can enter that here. I can select what my concentration was on for the drop down. So if you've used our system before, this looks familiar because it's the same functionality. We give you either a question or an information and a box drop down where you can select an answer. Let's say for this one, I'm just picking random because this is a demo. So we'll hit early child development as my concentration. I can enter my ECE related college credits if I have any. I'm just putting in random data here, my years of ECE experience, and then we can hit that save button. And it's going to hold that information in my Career Lattice level assessment. Now, having mentioned the level assessment, Allison, Colleen, anything you guys want to add in on the business practice of this, since I'm only touching on the functionality?
No, nothing to add.
All right, perfect. Just wanted to make sure. I like to stop periodically, make sure you guys don't have anything to add. Now, below is the actual Career Lattice where we can see our different levels: apprentice, entry level, professional. And I'm going to come back to this in just a second. But the first thing I want to show you is if we scroll all the way down to the bottom, this is our information resources. And these are, you can see some of them say coming soon, but that's because I'm in our testing environment. But you're going to have items here that you can open up and download those items. So we've got our Child Care Center Manual of Requirements that Allison was mentioning. We can select that item. It's going to open and download a PDF on our device so we can then read through that. So we wanted you to be able to know where you can find those. So it's always just come into my Career Lattice, and all the way at the bottom, I've got those help resources, those information resources. Also, if we need Spanish language versions, we can hit that Spanish button, and those are opening up there so we can see those links. Some of them may be coming soon. Some of them may be in. Again, this is a testing environment, so it's not always going to match what it looks like in the production environment. But we just wanted you to see where those help documents are. So just one more time, and you probably get sick of me navigating you through this, but I'm going to do it just so we can. We hit that registry, professional development. We see our quick links. We can find that Career Lattice, and then we can scroll down to the bottom for those information resources. Now, let's move into the Career Lattice levels. So we see it here. This user has not started their Career Lattice yet. So you can see there's no information in these grids down below. So how do we start working on this? Well, we select our Career Lattice level to see what the requirements are. And then we can also save a request for that Career Lattice level, right? So we can click through these and you'll see what happens when I select one. So let's start with apprentice. I select it. And if we scroll down a little bit, we've it opens up that level A apprentice, gives us our core knowledge and competencies alignment, the actual requirements needed. If the requirements listed do not reflect your current or ongoing career lattice level, select another option. And we can do that above. So you're not stuck on this. We can come up and I can look and I can say, hey, this doesn't meet what I needed. I can go back up. I can select, hey, I think I'm an entry level professional. And that's going to open that information down below just the same. So this is what Allison was mentioning. I'm going to flip back to apprentice really quick. So you can see here, it shows the education, the concentration, the college credit, and years of experience. That's going to be unique to the level you're looking at. It's going to have different information. Again, we're just looking at that apprentice level, right? So we can see unrelated program under concentration, none required for college credit, and years of experience, no minimum required. So again, it's going to say all levels request required documentation to be included. And if we scroll down a little bit, we can see our uploaded professional and education documentation. So these are items that we've already uploaded into the system. And like I said, back when it used to be panels, but it was the same thing. It was our professional profile. You can see I've uploaded a high school diploma. I've got some different items that I've uploaded. I've got a bachelor's degree here, so we can see those items and we can select them. But we can also access our profile here. The quick links here are the same as above. So we don't have to scroll all the way back up and find that certification. Like if I'm here and I'm like, I have another certification, I have some other work experience, and I need to add it in. I haven't added it into the system yet. I don't have to go all the way back up here and remember where I was and find it. You could stay in the career lattice and you can select these. So let's add a certification. We can hit add certification. It's going to open up down below. So you can see I've got a certified CPR trainer in there, but then I can add that additional item. So this works the same way. And I'm going to refresh again. I'm going to come back to the professional development. And this works the same way if I came in here directly and added that item certifications. You see I open that. I can see my certification here and I can add additional. So that's the nice thing about the career lattice. It holds some of these items so you don't have to do what I did, figure out where you want to go, navigate away and try to find it, and then try to work your way back. It's all held here. When we select that level and we start working through it, we can add those certifications directly from here. So that being said, we can see what's required for this level. Well, we need to select at least one, either a high school diploma, a college credit non-degree transcript, a college degree. These are all options that we can use. And you're going to see what happens when I select those options. So we know we need a high school diploma for this one, right? Let's just keep it easy. I'm going to select that high school diploma. And then once I make that selection, we immediately get a little pop-up of icons down here where we can cancel and go back, or we can apply for that current career level recognition. So we can select the items that correlate. So you can see here, I've got 2 of these. I could select 2 of these. If I want them both to show in there, and when I submit that, I can submit multiple items. You're not limited to one. You have multi-select checkboxes. And like I said, you can upload other things and they're going to appear here. But let's make a nice happy path. Let's select those 2. And I've checked everything. I'm ready to apply for my current career level recognition. You simply hit that apply for current career level recognition button. You're going to see a save in progress, and then we're going to wait on a confirmation message. And again, we're in our testing.
Can I just jump in and ask, are you sharing, there was a question in the chat that came in to ask if you were sharing full screen, just so that it's like as big as possible for attendees.
Yeah, I'm maxed out on my screen here.
Okay, I just wanted to check. Thank you.
Yep, sorry. All right, so we got our notification. The success popped up, and then we can see up here when we scroll back up to the grid, we now have that career lattice level history. It shows our level A apprentice under career lattice level. We haven't had a status update yet, and you can see our status here shows level pending approval. So as the registry reviews these and makes decisions, you're going to see that status update. You might receive some communication. Again, that's going to be on the business practice side. But I did want you guys to see what it looks like when that changes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to log out here and I'm going to jump into another registry user's account that I've already approved a Career Lattice level for, just so we can see how the grid looks a little different. So I'm going to hop in here. Same thing. You're going to get sick of hearing this. I come up to registry. I go to professional development. I can come down to my quick links and I can hit that Career Lattice. We scroll down. And then if we see in the grid here, like I said, I've already approved this user. So you can see once a status has been changed, it's going to give you some extra information. It's going to tell you who made that status update, when that data status change happened, and then the status here. So you can see this one is level approved. They've been approved for that apprentice level. Is there anything you guys wanted to add in on the business practice side? Anything they need to know for this section?
No, I can't think of anything. I encourage you guys, if you haven't already, put any questions that you have in the chat, and we will definitely address those if you want James to go back and show something again or something wasn't clear.
Yeah, anything I can show for you guys, you'll let me know. That's the basic functionality of it. Like I said, if you want me to show you any other navigation, how to move around, yeah, let's hear them.
James,
Yes.
my name is Norma Adams. I have my bachelor degree NP3. I would have to insert it in the portal in order for it to be recognized for me to put it to find out where I am on the lattice. Am I correct?
Would you like me to take that?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, yes. So if Norma, if your degree is not already in the system, then yes, we would need proof of or we would need to be able to verify proof of education before we can approve your Career Lattice level.
Thank you.
And Norma, just so you see here, if we need to do that from this section, we can. That's where it comes into play when you're selecting a level you want to apply for. Down here where it shows your items, you can add that educational achievement through this section, just like your personal profile. So you can select that, and then you can see I've got a high school diploma in here for this user, but say I needed to show that college degree, you can add that item, enter in your details, upload a document, and submit it for the registry to review.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Norma and James and Jessica. A question came in too about those that already have certifications and degrees that are uploaded into the system. And I wonder if Kara or Jessica, one of you want to respond to kind of how that assigning of new lattice levels process is working?
Kara, do you want me to take over or take that one?
I would love that. Thank you, Jessica.
So basically, if your documentation is in the system, is in NJCCIS to where we can go in and verify it, then you will just need to apply for your new level. We are not able to utilize the old levels to go ahead and transfer over because there are some levels that split into 2 different levels now. So with that, you will have to apply for the new level. Then we can take the documentation that is already in NJCCIS to approve that level. Now, I have noticed with some of the ones that I've been looking at that if you had stuff in, say, our old or in the old system, the PNIJ or PINJ system, then it's not been uploaded into NJCCIS. I cannot verify what your degree or certification is without the documentation. So you would get pending approval due to needing that information. So definitely make sure that your degrees and certifications are uploaded into NJCCIS.
I just wanted to add that that we are going to be doing a data fix to make sure that those items that were in pinch are going to be carried over. So, but it's always best to upload a new copy. So.
Thank you, Shauna and Jessica. Let me see. I want to just reiterate. So yes, so any documentation, Colleen put a comment in the chat, any documentation that you've uploaded in the past is still there. You only need to upload any new information, because sometimes people go in and they're like, oh, I completed this, but I never ended up, connecting it or uploading it here. So anything that would just need to be, that isn't currently there, that would need to be updated. And then I saw a question too about directions or instructions for this. We do have a technical manual. So I'll say there's a couple of different things that will be available to you guys. One, this is being recorded, so anybody can go back at any point in time and listen to it. We also have a series of, I know that this is a long duration of time, we have a series of short video snippets, and we'll be coming out with some additional videos and tutorials as well. But I wonder, Kara or Jessica, do either of you want to talk a little bit about the kind of user guide or technical manual?
Sure. So there is a user guide that will walk you through the screenshot. So if you're not a video person and you'd prefer not to follow a video, we will have that option for you as well, where it can be more of a written version of the instructions.
Thhank you. I appreciate that. Let me see. I'm just kind of scanning through.
Allison, we got a great quote. We got a great question through the chat, and it's, what are the benefits of applying and transferring the certification of the Career Lattice to not doing it? So what are the benefits of going through this whole process?
Yeah, it's really, I mean, you will have an assigned level at the end of this. And what we're hoping, right, is that across the field, I know that this is new, but that these levels will carry, it's essentially going to create a new language or vocabulary, right? These are going to have a currency, like what level that you're at. You'll be able to say, I'm at level 2A or 2B. And as the field, as we all get more familiar with this document, that will have meaning. And the certificate that you get, kind of your level assignment, I always say that's something that I encourage educators to post in their classroom, put it up so that parents can see that you are, a professional in this field, that you have knowledge and expertise that should be recognized, that you've attended coursework, like your level will help to recognize all of that. And so, hang it in your classroom. Similarly, administrators, hang it in your office so that during conferences or, visits that you have, that people can see it. And so, I would say, those overarchingly are the benefits. And then I think it's also, the other thing that I like to say too, is that having it in NJCCIS is also like your record of truth. So we can all recall a time where we lost a professional development training certificate, or something happened, right? We had to move suddenly and we lost documentation. Our college maybe closed. There's a small liberal arts college in my old town that closed suddenly. And so having the documentation here is also a source of truth. So if, as you go throughout your career, something changes, or you need to go back and revisit it, this is like your filing system. The system is secure, it's protected, so it's different than storing on a Dropbox or something like that. And so it's a great way to be able to kind of keep it also as your electronic file system, so that way that you always have a backup as well. And anything else that my colleagues want to add to that, go right ahead.
I'm trying to think of some other benefit. There's a lot of both individual benefits for you as a professional wherever you are. This is something you might want to put on your resume of where you are, because like Allison said, if this, if we adopt this language, if if you're hiring somebody or if you're applying for a job and you look at a resume and you see I'm a level 4, I'm a level 3, you know what you're looking at, and it's been verified by the registry. In a bigger picture, this can be used in your annual reports to your children and families to boast about the quality of your program. It can be used as information that you include in grants, to help show and share the strength of your program. From an administration and leadership standpoint, these are tools that you can use to encourage, promote, and support the professional development of your staff internally to help advise professional development plans. Um, and then I will throw in the plug for Grow NJ Kids. There's a standard about me reaching a particular levels, a certain percentage of staff reaching certain levels in the career lattice. So it's a goal that if you are participating in Grow NJ Kids, that you can receive acknowledgement for in our points-based system. I think I'm just touching the surface. I'm just scratching the surface of the benefits and uses of having a validated level on the career lattice. We can all look at the career lattice and kind of figure out where we are. This takes it one step further and validates it for everyone.
And I'll also add, thank you so much, Colleen. It also helps for those of you that are Head Start providers. There's right, an expectation in the Head Start program performance standards around participation in state systems. And so this is a way that levels can be printed out and kind of a piece of documentation for, if you think about program quality visits as well. So we mentioned Grow NJ Kids, but also if you're going for NAYC, we've also included recognition in the lattice of Montessori credentials and backgrounds. So similarly, if you have a Montessori certification visit, Head Start monitoring visit, these are kind of all different pieces of, these are important, as Colleen mentioned, individual sources of documentation. And we encourage you all as individuals to like manage and own your lattice level and your account essentially, right? But then also program pieces of documentation around the ways that you are supporting, providing, consultation and technical assistance to staff around advancement and the ways that they can continue to grow and learn in the field. And so it helps with all of that. Right. Let me see. There's some other questions coming in. I see that there's listing of P3 and documentation of certification. So again, we did look back at those certifications that are commonly utilized, commonly submitted for, current in the state. And so you would see that there as a list of recognized certifications that are there. Let me see. Out of country certificate and diploma validation doesn't need to be translated into English. I'll hand this over to the registry team if you guys want to answer this.
Sure, I did also put it in the chat. So any foreign credentials need to be evaluated by WES. We would need the WES report when reviewing the credential.
Thank you very much. I also see under master educator requirements, does state certification mean teacher certification from the New Jersey Department of Education? Yes. Yes, it does. And then what are equivalent endorsements? So it would have to be equivalent would be like the number of hours of professional learning or credits that are obtained. So there's a couple of different levels, most likely so you don't solely have to be have that certification from the New Jersey Department of Education to be at the master's level educator. There's also other levels within that are non-certified degree pathways. Again, we wanted to recognize that there's lots of different forms that master's degrees come in and lots of different pathways and certifications, but to recognize folks that happen to do, in fact, go through that pathway. Let me see. All right, I think we are keep the questions coming, but I think we've answered everything that everyone has put into the chat. James, is
I
there
see
any?
one more did come in. It was for the out of country diplomas. Do you need a course by course evaluation?
Okay, thank you. Shauna, did you want to take that one?
Sure. So Wes will take whatever you give them and then determine what the equivalency is based on what you give them. So we would take whatever the West determination is. We would use what West determines based on the courses that you gave them.
I'm sorry. So you said West, is that a evaluator?
Yeah, can we type
I will
out
put
what
the
that
link.
acronym stands
Yeah,
for?
I'll put the link in the chat.
Thank you.
Thank you. And then I saw there's one more. I'm happy to answer that last question. I keep saying last question and more keep them coming. It doesn't have to be the last question. Do admin have access to view Career Lattice under personnel to help with supporting advancement or goal planning? Kind of, yes. So admin will have has the ability now along with the Career Lattice, we developed a professional development plan. So if once your staff have applied for their, so you'll have your own, everybody who has a registry account has the ability to apply for Career Lattice. So you can see all of this information and help guide staff to do their applications. But once they have their level, they've had their verified level, you'll be able to see that level on their professional development plan. And so I highly encourage folks to create a professional development plan. The level will be shown there, and then those obviously work in tandem with each other to help support the individual move at least at minimum continue to meet the requirements of the level they're at, and then help support them to wherever their both educational and or career goals are with the PD plan. So yes, you do have access, and you'll have access to all of your staff's professional development plans if you so choose to use that feature in the system.
Real quick, one more little piece of functionality on the Career Lattice is if you come into your Career Lattice and your grid here where it shows your Career Lattice level history, you can hit your print career level certificate here as well. So that button's handy. It's right there. You can select that, and it's going to download an Excel document that breaks down that information, the level you're at, if you're approved or not. It's basically just the information from the grid here, but you do have access to print that off and save a copy of it if you need it. So that's right here above the Career Lattice level history grid.
James, could you also show where you can print your membership card? Because your membership card will also have that information.
Absolutely. And let's see here. We go to account, we go to profile. So if you go to account and profile, this is one where you have to use the account profile. You're not going to be able to reach it through the registry professional development. This is in your actual NJCCIS profile. So from your homepage, hit that account drop down, hit profile, and it's going to give you your info here for your NJCCIS user account. And then you can see that print membership card button right there. We can select that. It's going to take a second. It's going to download that PDF. And we can see it here. It's not showing my Lattice level on this one. Which account is this? This could be an issue. I've got some data issues on this user, so I don't think it's a bug. I think it's this user has like 2 copies of itself in the system, so it's just, like I said, it's our testing environment, but your Lattice level will show here, and I'll double check that, Colleen, just to make sure, but I'm almost positive it's just due to my account having a copy of itself in there.
Wonderful. Yeah. So lattice levels are there, and our workforce registry also approves trainers and training agencies. So any approved trainers in our system, their trainer level shows there. So that is something that if folks wonder who's providing this training, are you an approved trainer? That's where they have that verification of that.
Thank you. And I see one more question about just if you could review again how to apply for approval.
Absolutely. Let me grab another account since we already applied with the one I had, but I think I've got some more we can use. If you can see the list, I've got a lot. All right, let's see if I've created one for this gentleman yet. And if not, we can always apply for another level. But we're going to go to registry, professional development. So that's where we're going to find it. We scroll down. We're going to hit that career lattice quick link. And then in the career lattice quick link, we can come down, and that's where we see our apprentice levels. So we can select which one we want to apply for. I'm just going to do apprentice. We scroll down. Once we select it, it's going to show us what we need. And this is a great example because I don't have an item in here, right? There's nothing showing me that I can select that document and apply. So that means I haven't uploaded that document yet. And we can do that really quick here. So we need a high school diploma in here. So I can enter that here. I can add that educational achievement. Let's select one. I'm just going to put it in really quick. Again, test data. So I'm just typing the word test everywhere. Let's say I did this back in 2000, or hey, why not the 80s? We can attach that document. We enter a description, and then I could save that. And that's going to enter that into my professional profile, just like if I did it up above. But then now you can see it's in. I could select that item that I want to apply with. And once I make that selection, that apply for current career level recognition pops up. So once I make the selection of the item I want to use to validate this, I can hit that apply for current career level recognition. It's going to fire that off. And then at that point, it's just waiting for review and a response. And again, test the environment. So it's taking a minute for that success to load up and go through. But once it does, it's going to show up above in this grid. There we go. So it updates. You can see level A apprentice, and I'm pending approval because I just submitted it.
Perfect. Thank you. All right, I realize that we're at time, so I want to go ahead and wrap us up and also thank everybody for all of your great questions today. Please know, like I said, that this is the first of what will be more sessions to come. And we hope that as you guys get into it, that you'll have more questions and we'll continue to be able to support you in answering those questions. So just a few things to kind of remember. It's not a ladder. That was intentional by design. It's a lattice grounded in competencies. It drives quality improvements, as we talked about. It can influence, and we certainly hope will influence wages and compensation, promote workforce equity and access. It's a tool for planning and not for judgment. We're using it to help align across systems. And then also make sure that you share that this resource is available with others in your network. Like we mentioned before, share with families that you're using this to guide your educators' professional growth. And then also, please know that the state wants to support everyone in reaching their professional goals. So someone might look at this and say, oh, I really want to be at this level. I'm so close. And so there are a variety of different supports to be able to help you along the way. So, grants and scholarships for CDA, the P3, book stipends, and merit pay support programs as well. And so again, here is a QR code that should help you get to the NJCCIS site. You can also get there, get there and also access resources through the childcarenj.gov site as well. And you'll see again that there's some short videos and other resources that are available for you there. So definitely stay tuned. We'll be posting some more along the way as we get going. And with that, we've already talked through questions, but I want to thank you all for your time. If you have any questions and follow up to today's webinar, here is the phone number and then also the email address for where you can reach out. And again, we just thank you so much for your time and your participation. Have a wonderful
Thank you
rest
all
of
for
your
coming
week.
today.
All right, take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.